Hey folks, welcome to the Unit 6 lesson for I Do. Today we're talking about writing a problem solution text. Now, there are steps to this text writing process that we want to follow, and we're going to look at those today. Our instructional goal is to be able to use a graphic organizer to write a problem solution text. That's what we want to be able to do by the end of this lesson. So our first step is to research a problem. Should be used to research by now. We know how to research, right? Step 2 is then to research the solution. Then we're going to fill out the graphic organizer just like we did in the last lesson. And then you're going to expand the graphic organizer into full sentences. So we're kind of taking things we've done in the past and now we're going to add to them and make a full sort of text. Okay, and then we're going to put the sentences into a complete problem solution text with an introduction and conclusion sentences, right? So again, our first step is going to be the research. Step 1 and step 2, use the following list of potential problems and research 1 and answer the question provided on slide 4, then find a solution provided on slide 5. Okay, so these are sort of what you're going to do in the you do. Now, I have already picked out one of the invasive species. You're going to have a list of 4 or 5 invasive species right here, and you're going to pick one. So you're going to delete all the rest, and you'll have one. So I already have this one, the snakehead fish. This will not be on your list. And then you're supposed to answer these questions. Now, I found this article earlier. It's from the Smithsonian Magazine. It's about the invasion of snakeheads. That's right. And so I've already answered my questions, but your questions are going to be when and how did they come here? Well, snakehead and fish, put fish in there. Fish came here in the late 90s and got here because they used to be imported and sold at live fish markets. And I got that information right here, right? And so you'll also see that I saved the URL for this article, right? So that's something you need to do. You need to save your source and where it came from. Okay. Then you're going to say, why are they a problem? Well, they are an apex predator that wipe out other fish populations, right? Apex predators are predators that are top of their game. Like polar bears are apex predators. Nothing hunts them. Okay. How bad of a problem are they? It might drive native species to extinction in certain regions. And you'll notice I put the URL for that, even though all of my information came from the same source, and that's fine. All your information can come from the same source, but I put the URL each time just to sort of practice making sure I put the URL there in case I ever had like different sources, right? Okay. So then next, that was step 1. We research the problem, we answer the questions. Step 2 is to research the solution. Well, within that same article, it said that many places have banned the ownership of snakehead fish and allow them to be fished without limit, right? So you can't own a live one, but you can fish and kill and eat, because snakeheads are actually something you can eat, without limit. Normally there's limits on the number of fish, but in a lot of places, snakeheads, because they're invasive, you can eat all the ones you want. So that's step 1 and 2, right? Now step 3 is to fill out the graphic organizer. So as you can see here, I have the problem, snakehead fish are invading various waters. Problem detail, imported and sold, right? Snakeheads came here, that's my evidence, right? My evidence straight from here. And I'm filling out these evidence blocks with it. And then I'm summarizing them, right? Those details, those problem details. And I'm putting the solution right here, just like we did in the last lesson. Okay? Now let's get on to the thing that I really want you to understand is this writing. So step 4 and 5, use the information you gathered in the graphic organizer and turn them into complete sentences. Then put them together into a full problem solution text. So what does that look like? Well, you're going to introduce the problem, tell why it's a problem, tell why the problem is worth caring about, and then explain the solution, right? All using this information. So if I'm going to start here, I'm going to introduce the problem. Alright, the snakehead fish is an invasive species that populates lots of different waterways, right? That means they're just sort of all over the place. Now I have to tell why it's a problem. So that comes back to here. Okay, they're imported and sold. Okay. Snakeheads were imported and sold here in the United States. According to a Smithsonian Magazine article, and now I'm going to use my my evidence for that. Okay, notice how I took this and turned it into a full sentence, and now I'm providing my evidence. Alright? The same magazine, the same article, also explained how, and we're going to see, they're an apex predator. Okay? Or an apex predator. I'm actually not going to use my evidence here because I summarized it when I extended this. So when I made this a full sentence, I was like paraphrasing this information, which is perfectly fine. Alright? Let's see, I'm going to take this though, I'm going to use it as well. Okay? So then I'm going to say, also, copy and paste it correctly. Well, oh well. Just moving on. Also, it might drive native species to extinction in certain regions. This means that they are dangerous to natural wildlife. See, I'm now sort of explaining that. We're going to use some of our races method, work where we explain the evidence, right? So then finally I'm going to put a concluding sentence on this, right? Banning, owning, and allowing open fishing. So I'm going to say something like, many places have banned and the ownership of live snakehead fish and also allow people to fish them and kill them without limits. Right? And so that's just sort of like, rephrasing my solution information here, right, into that sentence there. So I'm explaining the solution. So we introduced the problem, we told why it's a problem, and then we told why it's a problem about caring about, right, because they could make creatures, other animals go extinct in the area, and then we explain the solution. Many places ban the ownership, blah blah blah. Alright, so that's sort of what you're going to do. Okay, you're going to pick a invasive species, you're going to figure out why it's a problem, you're going to figure out why it's a problem that matters, and then you're going to explain a solution, right? And you're going to fill out this graphic organizer after you answer these questions. Okay. So you finished Unit 4, Unit 6, Lesson 4. That should say I do, because this is the I do. And you need to move on to Unit 4. Let's we do. There you go. Sorry about that. Alright, good job, folks. Move on, go do that we do, and then you can go do the you do. Great job.